How would you feel if this whole time you've been married to your husband? The only reason why is because I've been slipping him like love potions to stay with you. Would you be upset at me or would you be upset at him or yourself?
Um,
Discuss.
obviously you.
Why? But like, look at the happy life you have. Wouldn't you
I know, but it's
congratulate
nobody
me?
else's fault but yours because I wouldn't know that it's true love.
But
So,
it's true happiness for you.
we have a lot to talk about with this movie. So, to start, we're talking about Practical Magic in case
Practical
people didn't know,
magic. Yeah, yeah.
which is a 1998 movie. So, y'all should have watched it.
Yeah, if
Um,
these are gonna be spoilers for many years ago.
I mean, we got witchcraft, we've got magic, heartache, loss, murder, seances, Stevie Nicks,
Exorcism, Aiden Quinn.
oh, Aidan Quinn, Sandra Bullock, Diane Wiest. Is that how you say it?
Oh, East? I thought you said West. West?
Nicole Kidman.
Tatum
We got some
Channing.
heavy hitters.
Yeah, a lot of people. Anyway,
I do also want to say that I am so psyched with how many people listened to our first podcast
hey, that's so sweet of
episode.
everybody.
So
TBH.
thank you everybody, and thank you for those who commented, gave us movie suggestions. We'll definitely do our best to watch those and review them. I think that's
Yes.
awesome. And thank you to those who liked and subscribed. Um, so, Practical Magic. So when was the first time you saw this movie?
Oh, like when I was 10, maybe?
Was it with me? Did we watch it together?
Probably.
Also 10? That's kind of young. There's some scary parts.
I don't know. I mean, watched like many episodes of Sex in the City when I was like 9, 8.
Okay, this isn't as bad as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must have seen this movie at least 10 to 15 times.
Can we briefly talk about the best time that you watched this movie?
Yes. Okay, so I think I started watching it with my gals in college. I think that's how I became introduced to it. I don't know specifically, but I loved the movie. And then I was not planned, but it came on the TV while I was in labor with my first son. And I remember I was about to start pushing. It was I don't know, coming down to the wire there. And Justin was like, "Okay, should we turn off the TV?" And I almost ripped his throat out at that suggestion. Like, why would we do that? No way. Um, so Practical Magic helped me get through childbirth.
That's so cool.
It is so cool. And then I actually brought my laptop and the DVD to the hospital for my second son to, but I didn't actually end up watching it, but maybe just knowing it was there helped to me get through it.
Yeah. I'm kind of shocked that it was. What's its rating? Is it PG-13? It's hard.
Yeah, but also this was, 25 years ago.
Yeah. Well, not when it was on the hospital television. Cuz I'm thinking to myself like I feel like they only can put PG and under movies on hospital or like commercial televisions.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
PG-13 is not that bad.
Yeah. I will say though, the movie gets like unbelievably intense during a moment within the first third of the film when stuff starts going bad with a boyfriend and then it goes back to being like really corny. But like for this
Well,
very small portion, it's like what the fuck is this movie about to become? And then it
I
goes
know.
back.
So I think we should do a quick synopsis, and I'll tell you why. I was talking to my good girlfriend, Alyssa, shout out, and
Shout out
she
Alyssa.
wanted to give you a call, Calden, um,
Hmm.
and tell you that the synopsis is a good idea because she's like, otherwise I'll have to go review it. And she's in grad school right now. She was gonna say to you, Calden, I don't need more required reading. So
Okay.
She likes if we don't give her required reading.
Cool.
No, but I agree. We will make this quick. But basically, it's about a family of witches. So Sally and Jilly. Oh, what's her last name?
Omens or something like that.
Owens. Yeah, good job.
Omens.
Okay, so Sally and Jilly. Sandra Bullock is Sally, and Nicole Kidman's Jilly. And they're witches, starting with their great 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 grandmother Maria. Maria was a witch. I think it was during like the Salem witch trials. Was that what you
Yep, seemed
picked
like
up
it.
on?
Seemed very
Okay.
New England.
Yeah, it was New England. All of it takes place, in New England by the ocean. The moon and the tides are very big in this movie. Um, and Maria was going to be hanged for being a witch because she was sleeping with married men and the wives who were on the hanging committee. I thought that was funny. Were not happy. But then she got out of the rope because she's a witch.
Hmm.
She got banished to an island, and she was so devastated. She was pregnant, and she thought her lover would come save her, and he never did. So she made this curse that any man who fell in love with an Owens woman would die. Which really, I kind of realized watching the movie, it punishes the women. I mean, obviously the men die, but it makes it so these women feel they have to be dependent on a man for happiness, and now they can't be happy because if they try to love somebody, they die. So
Yeah, why couldn't she
Jilly,
make the potion like if a guy falls in love with her, he'll never be a dick to her ever
yeah,
again?
that would have made
That
more
that would have been
sense.
awesome.
I mean, I guess when we're in crisis, when we're in grief, we don't think very carefully. But you're right, that would have been better. So Jillian and Sally, they're the main characters, but their mother, that happened to their father. Their mom and dad were madly in love. The dad died, and the mother died of a broken heart. And so the girls had to go live with their maternal aunts, I believe, played by Stalker Channing and Diane Wiest. And they big beautiful house, and they just sort of raised them to be witches and hone their craft. And Jilly kind of took it. She couldn't wait to be in love and wasn't so good at sort of the witchcraft part of it. Sally but was terrified of being in love, so she made a what was it? I guess it was a potion or something.
Mm.
Um, that in order for a man to fall in love, or for her to fall in love with a man, he had to have specific qualities that she felt wouldn't ever exist in one person. So it kept her protected in that way.
Could you imagine if she finds out one of these people that she's been dating has one of those characteristics, but the characteristics was something a little bit more embarrassing? Unzips the pants and is like, "Wait, I I wanted an 8-inch person." And like unzips and is like has to go to the drawer in the kitchen and pulls out a tape measure and is like, "Measure yourself now." And he like pulls it out. He's like, "I think it's 8 inches." She's like, "Get the fuck out." Get the fuck out.
God.
little
Oh
little
my
ten
God.
year old
Well,
Sandra Bullock is putting in flowers. Like, I need him to be 8 inches. I need him to have real beautiful hair. I want him to be dummy thick, thunder thighs. I want him to clap.
right. So, what were some of the things that she asked for? I had to have one green eye, one blue.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
some of the things I was like, before that, the eye color, I was like, who the hell can't do those things? It was like flip pancakes in the air. Favorite shape is a star.
Fair.
Ride a horse backwards. I
Fair.
mean,
It is also like a little kid dreaming up these things, and it's kind of like when
yeah.
a kid is like, "I want $200 when I grow up," and everybody else is like, "Okay, I think you can do it."
I
Yeah,
think that goal's obtainable.
yeah.
Yeah, so basically the two girls dealt with this feeling of the curse differently. So Jillian, as soon as she got old enough, she ran away from home. Sally was so sad about it, but she's like, "No, we're sisters." And this is the second, or I guess the first of two movies that Sandra Bullock has been in that she cuts her own hand and shares blood with somebody else.
I swear she
Do you
does that
remember?
on set with people before they film to be like, inevitably this is gonna happen, okay? So let's just get comfortable with it now because obviously
They
they're.
all share blood. They have a blood pact. So
Mm-hmm,
the sisters have this blood pact because Sally's like, I feel like I'm never going to see you. And Jilly's like, dude, we're going to friggin' die together. Don't even worry. So
mm-hmm.
Jilly leaves with this man and just kind of dates around boyfriend after boyfriend, but never really falls in love with anybody. Um, but never sees her sister. So you talk about the what the aunts did to kind of push things along with Sally, who was like very worried about falling in love and I think didn't really practice her gifts as she got older because she wanted to be what she called normal. She wanted to
Mm.
be normal, have a normal life.
Yep. So then Nicole Kidman ends up with a dude that is not kind, and they end up killing him because he was going to kill them. And then his
Oh,
soul
you went
starts
way
possess
farther than I
and
was
then his
thinking
soul
you would.
starts possessing their yard and like a toad, and then eventually Nicole Kidman herself, and then they have to exorcise him out of her body. And in the meantime there's like a cop who is investigating this demon boy's death and thinks Sandra Bullock killed him, which she did, but then they fall in love, so it's okay. So he never arrests her. Uh, Spoilers, it's Aiden Quinn, and then they
Ugh,
live happily ever after.
I cannot even.
Okay, I do
So
want to mention one thing about Aiden Quinn. Well, we'll mention several, but this is the most important. How does Aiden Quinn not use his face to talk for the whole movie? Like, have you ever noticed that none of his muscles move? Let me try to like if I replicate it, he's like, nothing moves, and it's kind of like this. He's like, I'm Aiden Quinn. Let's go somewhere a little hotter, Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock, more like Sandra Buttocks, you know what I'm fucking saying.
he is
He's so great,
beautiful.
though.
He is a beautiful man. He can talk with whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Um, so listen, I was watching an episode of the Graham Norton show.
Yeah.
Can I talk about that on
You
this?
certainly can.
And I don't remember who it was, but one of the guests said that he's an actor, and he said he never knew that you weren't supposed to use tongue when you kissed, and people
What?
on stage, no, like
Oh, you
during a
mean
movie,
during a
yeah,
movie? Got you.
and people and the other actors were like, yeah, yeah, no. Apparently, you're only supposed to do that if like you really like the person and you guys dig each other. So
IRL.
this is pervy, but I'm watching the little love scene in Practical Magic, and Calden, there was tongue.
I don't
Um,
think I focused so hard, but like how much we talked. Like, was Aiden like jacking it in and out with the tongue? Was he like?
oh no, it was very well done. I think she slipped some tongue into his mouth.
Oh, so she instigated tonguing,
Uh, yeah. Anyway,
and then he
I
tongued
that
back.
that really bothered me for a while because at the time, it still is, Aiden Quinn was married. So I'm sure that the actors were like, no, no, they're just very good. And there was such great chemistry on screen and all was kosher, or all was okay. But I was like, I don't know. Looks like a little something was going on there.
Do you think after they had that scene, they like both smoked a cigarette and were like, "All right, we can't do that again. This is where we got to end this."
It's possible.
Yeah.
So my husband was watching this, and because I don't know how this is possible, but he had never seen the movie before. So in anticipation of this podcast, he watched it with me. And at the end, his eyes are kind of furrowed. I mean, his brow is furrowed, and he's like, um, I just, how many times was this script passed around?
It did become like at first it went from romance film about fate to
Yeah.
then absolutely so much more adult drama about toxic masculinity, and then became Crime and Punishment, except like Raskolnikov and the detective Petrovic fell in love, I guess. And then it became like a ghost exorcist poltergeist movie, and then with a finale that was like the Order of the Phoenix, when Voldemort is all up inside Harry's insides and is like, "You lost, old man," and then it ends. It was many movies.
There's a lot to it. I don't have a fully formed theory. I watched it 1.5 times this past week because I really wanted to try to understand how the curse was broken, right? Because at the end they're like, the curse was broken. Okay, how? I don't think it was because Aiden and what is his name in the Gary?
Gary.
I think it's Gary. Gary and Sally got together because that wouldn't make sense. I think it's because yeah, they had to do like an exorcism on Nicole Kidman because Jimmy Angelo, Jimmy Angelo. Remember they keep saying that
Y-
Jimmy Angelo.
Yeah,
So
just like
Jimmy
that too.
Angelo is abusive towards
Nicole Kidman.
Jilly,
Hmm.
hits her, and then just the sisterly witchy bond. Sally's like, "Oh my God, Jilly's in trouble," and goes to try to save her sister. And Jilly goes to get her necklace out of Jimmy's car, and Jimmy's there and grabs her and tries to kill her. And they end up drugging him by accident. They didn't mean to. Well, they meant to drug him. They didn't mean to kill him. And he dies. And so then they try to bring him back to life with these spells.
Yeah.
And that I wanted to bring that up because they have him on the table. They get whipped cream to put a star on his like bare chest, and Sandra Bullock she's clearly stressed. This is supposed to be sort of a funny,
Yeah,
cute
where did they
Sandra
get that
Bullock moment.
idea? Like, where did they get the idea for putting whipped cream on his bare chest?
I don't know, but she takes a little taste with her finger, and I was like, first of all, hairy chest man,
Dead
smells
corpse
like
man.
corpse.
Yeah. Probably smells awful, has shit in his britches. Yeah. That's probably really bad.
So they try to bring him back to life, and then he tries to kill the sister again. So then they hit him over the head with a frying pan. He kind of haunts them for a while. It's not super clear what's going on. He's not alive. He's not dead. He ends up like being inside Jilly, like he's taking her over. And so they have to do, like you said, like an exorcism. And so somehow, I think this is my theory. I wrote it down. Are you ready?
Yes.
Just flip the page. So the curse that Maria created ended up being a punishment on the women in the family because they believed they needed a man, and without them, they couldn't survive and be happy. So, but by saving Jilly, they realized the curse leads to a dependence on men. Jilly literally almost dies from the hold a man has on her. And when they save her, the bond of the quote, the sisterhood, um, breaks the curse because they prove that the power of the sisterhood is stronger than any hold a man might have over them, and they'll be okay as long as they have it. That is my theory on
That's pretty
why the
good.
curse breaks.
Yeah. I don't see how Quinn helped pretty much at all, other than the one time he was able to use his sheriff badge like a Dragon Ball Z character and be like "Hamikamiya!" and destroyed that ghost version of the bad boyfriend. Real crazy, like PSA police department style, like American police department. We're here to save you at all times with his little badge.
He
And
wasn't
then
very helpful.
and then he
No.
left being like, I'm going to go, you guys sort this out. I'll come back when it's all done. And that's exactly what happened. The ghost died. The next morning, the sun is in the sky. He looks out his window and is like, "You know what? I'm going to fucking marry Sandra Bullock." And that's how
Well,
the
she
movie ends.
summons him. He actually first sends her a letter that says, "Oh, accidental death. Don't know what happened." So he actually kind of
Yeah.
saved her from going to prison, and
Mm.
then she summons him. So I think the point of Eden Quinn in this movie is to show that she can learn to be vulnerable and open her heart to somebody. And she's okay with using her powers to do it because they were both in agreement. He's like, dude, I was looking for you too. It wasn't just you summoning me. Because before all that, there was a time when Jilly was gone, Sandra Bullock hadn't found anybody. The aunts kind of put a love spell on this man in the town, and he and Sandra Bullock fell in love and had children, and then he ended up dying because of the curse. So she was mad at the aunts for she didn't even know they did that. Which, okay, I get she's mad and she's like, whatever, we have to go live with you. So she's all angry. But bitch, you came into their house after your husband dies, with your children, after they've already raised you and your sister, and you're gonna tell them what they can and can't do in their own house.
Doesn't seem right.
That pissed me off. She's like, you are not gonna teach them magic. There'll be no magic. Like, what are you doing in their house? This is clearly a magical house.
Yeah. Kind of unfair. Do you think Mark Feuerstein, the guy who played as the first husband of Sandra Bullock, was disappointed after he received his script for being Sandra Bullock's husband in this movie? Probably felt like he had a huge role. Like, I'm the lead's husband. Found out he's in the movie for like a whole 5 minutes.
I mean, I guess I would be. They get like what, one kiss?
Oh, that's what you would have been disappointed about? You need more kissy scenes with Sandra Bullock to be happy for your scene.
I do. So I think the thing I loved about this movie is it's just it have a history with it. It's nostalgic.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
and the whole witchcraft. Love the witchcraft. Love the power of the sort of pagan, um, s- ritualistic stuff and how powerful these women are and how they need each other, depend on each other. Um, Sorry, someone's creepily driving by my house, staring up my window. And
Are
I
they
love
good?
all of that. And also, for a while, I like to believe that maybe I was a witch because I'm distantly related to
That's true.
Rebecca
Rebecca
Nurse,
Nurse.
formerly Rebecca Town.
Yeah,
So
that's
there we go. But
nutty.
yeah, Rebecca Nurse, who was hanged in the Salem witch trials. So I, probably knew Maria. They're probably besties.
Mm, mm.
So that's why I love the movie. And so it's kind of like it's hard for me to look at it objectively because I'm loving those things and all the fun lines. Oh, here's another thing about the curse, to go back to the curse.
Curse.
Aidan Quinn does say, this is one thing maybe he gives to the movie, is he said curses are only real if you believe they are. So
Hmm.
there's that theory too. That
Which
maybe
is
it
so
never
not the
really.
case with this movie, though. I mean, that is a real ass curse. You can't tell me that wasn't a real curse.
You don't think so?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, could have been coincidence that all those men. I mean, obviously not the guy, the boyfriend guy. I mean, he's just a bad dude. But
I don't know. I guess
yeah, I don't know.
it felt like the moment in Polar Express when the guy who lives on top of the train says to the main character kid, "Seeing is believing," and we're all supposed to think, "No, you're wrong. You don't have to see something to believe it." But then at the end of Polar Express, he sees Santa Claus, and that's how he fully believes in him. So it's sort of uh,
Right,
goes
right.
against its own principles. Yeah.
I agree. I don't. So a couple of my favorite parts are when they're having midnight margaritas, and then the sisters are like, "Where'd you get this tequila?" And they're like, "Someone left it on the porch."
All
That was
right.
that was one of my favorite parts. And then when one of the sort of the friends, the one of the women that works in the store, Sandra Bullock's store that she owns,
Mm.
they like get rid of the bad boyfriend. They do the
Oh,
what's it
and
called?
and the exorcism, and she's like, "Do you think this will work on my ex-husband?"
That was somebody else. That was funny. But then this other woman goes, "All right, ladies, let's clean house."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was a favorite
That
line.
was a good line. Yeah, this is definitely a
Um,
movie out of for sure enjoyment because it just instantly feels like a movie you've watched before, and you're gonna watch it again because it has that feel of comforty,
yeah, the
classic
nostalgic is you love it
nostalgia
because of
film.
that.
Yep,
So did you like the movie?
it was okay, but like I much more enjoy it purely just because of my history with it. I'm sure if this was my first time watching the movie, I'd be like, I mean, it's probably a 6, but
You think
without,
so?
but with it, eh, it's a movie that will stay with me forever in my heart.
How would you rate this movie?
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.
What? You
Maybe.
just said it stays in your heart. I feel like surely that should bump it up a few.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think it's probably like a 6.5.
I don't think it's a half.
Well, because it's not like I gave I gave About Time a 7.5, and that's like just it is definitely a much better film. I can't put this movie at the same in the same decimal areas as that movie.
All right. Well, you know what? I think this is good. I think that we've got some differences here. So I would definitely rate it a 9.
9, fair.
So to review, About Time, I gave it an 8. You gave it a 7.5,
I did.
and 2 Domhnall Gleeson beards. How
That's
many
right.
Domhnall Gleeson beards would you give this one?
None. There was no fucking Donald Gleason beards. I'd give it maybe uh, one of Aiden Quinn's face muscles,
Luscious
basically.
hair. He had
Yeah.
luscious hair.
Well, yeah. He had a little bit of that widow's peak poking through, but it was very cute how it did so. It was like this light little jab forwards, like he's poking his toe out to check the temperature of his forehead, kissing like his kissing it to see what his temperature is in case he's a little sick. Yeah.
Casey's low sick.